How can you be free? What is freedom anyway? Is freedom to do what? Freedom to do whatever you want to do? Is that it? What do you want to do? Definition. Total freedom is total absence of fear. Because total freedom is total love, or total extension of yourself in freedom to include everything else. See? You cannot be free if you fear, because if you fear, you will defend yourself. How can you be free if you must defend? If you are fearful, you must believe that something can hurt you or attack you. If you believe that something can hurt you or attack you, you can't be free. You will have to build walls to defend yourself. We attempt to find freedom, say, in a dualistic society in America by stockpiling bombs. Okay? Hopefully we can defend ourselves and what? Remain free. It will never work. How could it work? Countries, societies can never be free until there is individual freedom, until you come to your own freedom. Okay? There is no freedom on earth. Can't be. Can't be. Because you defend yourself. You and I can get together and defend ourselves in apparent freedom. Okay? We'll be free. We'll go up to the North Woods. Okay, we'll get a beautiful cabin and we'll be by a stream. We'll go to Oregon and we'll be absolutely free and to hell with everybody else. That'll work for a little while. Then what happens? Well, I don't know. Somebody invades you and robs your cabin. You pick up a newspaper and they drop the big bomb and everything is futile anyway and you're dying. By freedom, I mean eternal freedom, freedom forever, freedom from all disease, all pain, all hatred, all jealousy, all remorse. Okay. By freedom, I mean laying the burden down. Lay your burden down and be free. Oh, I don't think I'll do that. I'm going to carry this around with me for a while. I need to do that. Right above you is freedom. It waits for you. Okay. Just sits there and waits. You may have it any time you choose. The chains that bind you are your own, I assure you. Since you do not believe that they are own, somehow you go outside yourself and think, well, no, this is what's happening to me. This is why I'm this way. This is causing this to me. If this changes, everything will be okay and I'll be free. Happened to me. I'll be okay. You forgot one thing. The reason that those things appear to be happening to you is that you are sharing in this illusion. Okay. You made it up. You made him up. You made me up. You made this up. You're dreaming. You're going to wake up and you're going to discover that you made up the whole thing. You got your cause and effect mixed up. The things that are affecting you, okay, are caused by you. You think that the cause is outside yourself. You made up a dream in your dream and it is attacking you. Isn't that astonishing? Huh? Those things are not real. Okay, this is the ancient wisdom revealed. Are you listening to that? This isn't real. Okay? It's astonishing. That's not acceptable to you. Really, the ancient wisdom is, since this is not real, you must be making it up. Okay? You make it up in a perspective of who you think you are. Okay? Since you don't know who you are, you make up illusions outside of you that are then projected back to you. When you come to know in consciousness who you really are, okay, you will create yourself or truth. Do you have it? Okay. If there is in fact consciousness, there is only one consciousness. If there is only one consciousness in all the universe, and there is, okay, or there is not, and if there is not, then who speaks there is? Since there is only one consciousness and you are conscious, you must be all consciousness. If you are in fact all consciousness, you perceive yourself as not being, that must be a false perception, and it is. Who are you then? Literally. You are all things. You are God. You are all consciousness. You must be. You cannot not be. Impossible. Okay? You may separate yourself in an attempt to deny that, but the truth is that you are. And that's what you're going to come to know. That's all. Know ye not that ye are gods. Huh? That's the ancient wisdom. In your arrogance, you refuse to accept your own divinity. Isn't that amazing? You feel non-entitled. You feel guilty. And you're divine. You're absolutely perfect. I assure you that you're absolutely perfect. Never mind the things that you have made up outside of yourself in defense of who you think you are. You can't fail finally. What would you fail to? The wages of your sin, or thinking you're who you are, can only be death. And that's the process that you will go through, isn't it? If you retain a false identity, you will die a false death. But since you believe in your identity, your death is very real, I assure you. Your pain is also very real, isn't it? Huh? Sure, it's real. I don't stand before you and say, you're an illusion. I can do that. But if you think you're real, the pain is real. There's a certain point that will come to you as an entity where you say, I'm not going to do this anymore. There's more to it than that. And then you discover who you are. And that's a process that you're going through now. It's very nice to know that you can go through that. The only purpose that you're here on earth, in this illusion, as identified in consciousness, is to overcome the process of self-identification to go to total identification. Of course, that's why you're here. And that is occurring in you. And will continue to occur in you until you complete the process. Remember that you as identified can only be you. There is no separate identification. Those are facsimiles of personality. They're not real. But consciousness is real, finally the only real thing, and since all consciousness is the same, your identification of self is the same as the self-identification of the projections that you have made outside of you. The man being beaten with the whip is the man doing the whipping. I assure you that is true, and that is this very single difficult thing to believe. There is finally no retribution because there is no cause and effect quotients. Consciousness is not linear. Sometimes when you're extending from yourself, you project from yourself and cause pain to other people. You'll feel that pain almost immediately if you've had that experience. As you raise energies in your body, they'll get closer and closer, and finally you become divine simply to keep yourself from being in pain. Divinity, or coming to the truth that you are God, has nothing to do with morality at all. It's not written on a tablet. It's contained in you. You will automatically become true, because you recognize that you can only finally hurt yourself. Will you be divine? Of course, you are divine. It's not self-will that brings you to that. It's not enforced disciplines. It's a simple truth. You do it by extension of your consciousness. And you can't fail. So how can I be free then? Finally, freedom can only come by overcoming or recognizing the falsity of death. All fear is fear of annihilation, fear of the unknown. Okay. I'm afraid I'll have to protect myself. I don't know what's going to happen to me. So you start with that premise. The more you give up the earth, the more you win, the less fearful you'll be. The more acceptance that occurs in you that there is a divine template or a template of perfection that's bringing about this change in you, the more easy you'll be and the more joyful and happy you'll be. So you cannot not be that way. What are we really saying? What do we really teach? We teach finally that you have absolutely no control over anything. And that the more you let go, the more you detach, the more energy of truth will flow in you. That's all. Okay. If this is not real, at what point will you stop defending it? Okay. The moment that you totally stop defending yourself, you will experience the resurrection. You will graduate in consciousness and you won't be here anymore. You are here simply because of self-identity. How many so-called entities coming to transformation or recognition does it take to save the illusion of the world pain? One. Just you. That's why we teach only you can save the world. Huh? Who can save the world? You. Since the world can only finally be your perception of it, obviously it cannot be saved outside of yourself. How could it? How could it? You think that you can have things and hold on to them in your self-identification. To have anything is impossible. You already are everything. Finally, to have is to be. I am, therefore I have. If I can have something in lieu of you having it, that's absurd. How could that possibly be? Is there a scarcity of things? Huh? Are some things good and some things bad? At what point do you judge that? At what point are you saying, I think I'll have this and I won't have that? What a terrible, incredible burden is judgment. Okay? But what you go through in your mind to sort things out, or what you think is good and bad or right and wrong, is incredible. No wonder you get tired. Your mind constantly has to sort things out. When you get all done, nothing stays the same anyway, and you end up changing your mind about it. Astonishing. You get all tired. Tiredness is a form of death. There's no such thing as tiredness, any more than there's such a thing as disease. Huh? You think so, but boy, if I were in a constant state of trying to judge something, I'd get awful tired too. You're trying to sort it out in your mind. No wonder you're tired. Don't judge it. Stand aside from it. Well, I don't have any opinions about anything. Well, you don't. Don't have any opinions about anything. Don't participate in it. Okay? You don't have to. You have to do that. Really, all I'm teaching is that the choice is yours. And that finally you have no choice but to wake up and understand that this is not real. I don't know when you're going to do it. But there's no self-identity anyway. I am very much aware, as I stand here with you, that you are not real in personality. I assure you I'm aware that you're not real. I don't think of you as Pat or Ed in any regard. Or you. I don't. Why would I? Why would I think that somehow a facsimile of consciousness could occur that's got things all sorted out and whole thing is mine? Would you be different than the other 4 billion entities established here on Earth? And there's billions of stars. How would you be separate from them? How would you be different? How am I different from you, finally? Not at all. I am you. I'm you. Okay? At the next level, we will establish a brotherhood, or a recognition of a single truth. That's what we're doing now. Okay? We are taking the fracturedism of the essence of purity or energy as manifest in the various colors. Okay? The panorama of colors of energies that occur in us are variant in our own symbiotic relationships. So we combine them in essences of love or communication and recognition of identification of mutuality. That's what love is. You're walking along the street and all of a sudden you fall in love with a person that's walking, coming from the other direction. It's an identification of energy patterns that are the same. When you finally come to your own fruition, everywhere that you look you identify in love because you see only yourself. Isn't that nice to know? Huh? Everyone is you. You don't judge them in any other fashion. You want to be free? Love everybody. Okay? That's an astonishing truth. Okay? But how can you if you don't know who you are and you don't like yourself? Huh? So I stand before you and say, you're perfect. You're forgiven. Come on home. No, go like that. Oh, is that true? Yeah, that's true. You're absolutely perfect. You can't fail. Good morning. Then you extend from yourself the creativeness or the truth of your own union. That's all it is. There's some fear connected with doing that because in self-identification, the death process is required for you to get into the flow of the next level of consciousness. And if you're coming up and looking at it and you're holding on to yourself, okay, it is very painful. You try to self-identify in the midst of a big spray of energy that is dictating a single truth to you, and that can be very difficult. When you go through the death process of leaving this, whatever you want to call this body, if you want to call it that, okay, you will, and as expressed, have periods of regenerative energy or recollection, as described in the death process, where the light is seen, and the process of which the karma's relived. But that's just the beginning of it. That's what you here now are undergoing in consciousness. When you complete that, you will be awake without dying through the death process of self. Okay. That's what being born again is. That's what the process of union is. In yoga, you transcend finally. And that's nice. And you can do it. So do it. Turn off the bubble machine. Maintain their egos, that's nonsense. There isn't any such thing as that. Please, there's no God. There's no power in the whole universe. Why would you stand aside from it? Why would you defy who you are? At what point do you retain identity and march to your own death? So. Don't do it. All you do is give it up. You can't die. Now we're in the great hall together. We have common truth to share. Now our energy patterns are very similar. We identify with a single light of truth. Nothing will defy that. There isn't anything to defy it. What would defy it? We stand in truth. All fear is gone. What could we fear? Big surge of energy just came up. Look at that. See the colors of it? Ooh. That's very nice. Take your whole body as a relationship of energy, but don't identify with it. That's not who you are. You're not the body. That's absurd. Why would you be the body when you're in consciousness? What would be real about this? It's very beautiful. Everything is beautiful. All of it is beautiful. Is this more beautiful than this? No. Is it less beautiful? No. There is no such thing as more or less. There is only all. Astonishing. I can't be more than you, but I can't be less. I am you. Easy. You open up the door, and there it is. Oh, look at this. Oh. Oh. It's nada. It's lovely. That's all in you. Very lovely. Lovely that is. You're free. Earthlings are blind, deaf, and young. All of them. There's finally no such thing as a real sight. truth brings you to that wholeness of recognition of yourself. The human comes to itself in its totalness. Each time there's an awakening, it's glorious and individual because it's a single truth. The truth that shares it with you is you. Oh, that's beautiful to know that. It's you, but it's more than you. It's all of the facets of you. The incredible beauty and loveliness and truth of you. What would you fail to? What is there left here for you? What is there left finally in the schoolroom when you graduate? You put away the toys, huh? What's left here? Why would you choose to stay here? What is there here but pain and sorrow and death and loneliness and terror? Why would you choose to stay on earth? Right, any sense? Go home. It's that simple. I remember you very well. You remember me perfectly well. How would we not remember each other? How can there be more than one total consciousness? There it is. Not only are we here, we're here. We're all over the place, everywhere. We bask in energy here. But it's assimilating into you, see, it's transforming. You have nothing to say about it. That's the joy of it. See, it finally happens despite everything you might think about it or try and do. And we share in that glory. We love each other in it. We come to union in it. It's a beautiful process, finally. Because you're totally innocent. What else can you be? Where are you going to protect yourself? Huh? Or are you going to say, I know that's true, but I better hang on. Go. You abandon. That's the fun. Total abandonment is fun. I will build a stairway to the stars for you that you may walk on. I'm making it out of light beams. Here. You can climb that stair now. You can see paradise. How beautiful the lights are. Oh, look. There. Each time you come to this place, there's a change occurring and you're remembering again. It seems very familiar to you. You've been here before. Of course you've been here before. You remember now. There, I remember. I remember all very well. Your rays extend up to the light. You're a part of that. Flow into that truth. Push it away. Push all of you away. I've been there before. It's right here. No mind. yours especially. What's wrong? No, that's good. You can't fail. You're already home. There's no failure. I'm gonna put on some music. Get up to there. That's nice. You can allow your spiritual awakening to be sacred if you want to. It's very nice to be that way. Since it's true. The harmonies that blend in and the responses that you have in yourselves to this are very extraordinary. Process goes on in your body. It's very nice to know that that's happening to you. You can't fail. can't lose. The more you come to that, the more the light shines on you. Okay? You come to truth. You can't fail. Impossible. You do it for yourself, and you do it alone. It appears you're alone here, and suddenly it opens up for you, and you see all the glory of what you're here for. Very nice. If it were not so, I would not tell you that it was so, and you remember it very well. In this manner, since we are talking about now, that we make a point about this, the illusion of this and the truth that's here is coming to us now. It's like a joke. Sometimes when we wake and we look around and we see what's happening here, it's kind of fun because it's so pitiful. You have to laugh at it. You have to laugh on it, what the entities do to themselves. It's not true, but they seem to do it. And each one of them has to go through that final individual atonement. It can't occur any other way. Each will have their dark night. Don't wallow around in it. Just say, gee, this must be what's supposed to happen. That's what's supposed to happen. It has already all occurred. Nothing new about it. Fabric of consciousness. It's not linear in any regard. What you did yesterday has absolutely nothing to do with what you're doing now. Nothing. Nothing. You hear me? That's why you're here. Because you remember yesterday. In fact, if you didn't remember yesterday, it would be impossible for you to be here. You had to establish yourself or you wouldn't be here. We are in the process of disestablishing you. Did we come to smooth things over for you and make it okay in this hell? No, we didn't come here for that. If you want to get it smoothed over, you go somewhere else. Okay? This is the truth. You want to carve your little heaven out of hell, you go ahead, you try it. This is the truth here. It's very joyous. Because you're allowed to fail totally. So that you can win, so you don't have to hold on. You don't have to go through these motions of pretending everything is okay. It's not okay. It's horrendously, incredibly bad. It's awful. Don't tell me it's okay. You can do something about it. And only you can do something about it. Because you made it up in the first place. If you can't figure that out, just remember you have no control over it. That'll make you feel good. Because you go, well, you don't have to hang on to anything. The only thing you could possibly hang on to or have is death. Nothing else. Nothing but death you hang on to here. The moment that you give it all up, you become eternal. Period. You hear me?